Hey folks, it's Billy DKY, the truth seeker that simplifies and demystifies. This is going to be a video on how to split your time between your physical, spiritual, and mental time. Now basically I was doing my spiritual time this morning, it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I could see how it all fits together, and how beautiful it is, and just, I don't know, I've been struggling with this for a while trying to figure it out. So basically I'm going to give it to you right now, and then we'll talk about it. So basically, this is how you should split your time between your physical, spiritual, and mental time. And so basically, here's how it goes. And this is, you know you got it when it's just beautiful. Alright. Okay, so basically what you do is, here's the way I start my morning. Now, I go for a little walk, about a 30-minute walk. So after you get done with your walk, you want to relax, let your chi come back. So I sit in the recliner over here, which you can't see. Sit in the recliner, and I got my big post-it board thingy-majiggy here. And these are just thoughts that came through my head while I was, while you're sitting there just doing nothing, focusing, dealing with just doing nothing. So I recommend during your spiritual time to have something like this by you. Have a, like I said, have a board where you can just a dry erase marker and all that, and eraser, and when you can go in the craft section like Walmart and get magnetic strips put on the back of your erasers, and you just put it on there. But anyway, I suggest getting one of those. Not too bad if you get like Walmart. And Office Depot might pay twice as much, but nonetheless. Okay, so back to the program. Okay, so here's how it goes. So you do your morning walk. Give me just a second. Okay, so you do your morning walk. You come back, you sit in the recliner for, I don't know what, I've usually sit for an hour. All your thoughts are running through your head, so you put it on the poster board or the dry erase board. You let your thoughts mull around, let your chi come back from the exercise. And then, but guess what happens while you're sitting there? All these thoughts you put on this board and you want to talk about them. So that leads perfectly into doing the mental training. And then you do all the mental training, like this is what I consider doing mental training, doing videos, spreading the word, putting my thoughts out on Twitter and stuff like that, and YouTube, or whatever you want to call mental training, reading, blah, blah, blah. But guess what you want to do after you've done mental training for about an hour? You want to do physical training. You know, you're starting to get cold, your body's wanting to move, and it'll feel better to move. So you do physical training. And it's just like that. It's a beautiful cycle. Once you see that this automatically leads to this, and this naturally leads to this, and this naturally leads to that, and it's just a beautiful cycle of progress. Now, I screwed this up for years, and like when I was going to college, and this is what college students will screw up on all the time, especially if you're an ambitious college student. You know, if you're out drinking and partying all the time, it's probably no big deal to you. But let's say you're ambitious, you're really wanting to go somewhere, you're wanting to be the best at whatever it is, or at least the best you can be. So here's how I used to I'll show you how I used to screw up in college, and now I'll show you how I would do it again if I was to go back. Basically, you're doing a lot of mental in college, and then I would do physical, run some, this and that, whatever. But then I come back to doing this right again. Which what I should have done is spent some time, maybe spent 2 hours doing some math problems, this and that. Then go maybe exercise 30 minutes to an hour, and then maybe just sit around, and do nothing, and just let my thoughts regain with my dry erase board there, and then bam. Now, I also made this same mistake when I was doing actuary work. If any of you know what actuary work's about, you know you got to do a lot of studying. You work a normal day, then you get a little bit of time to study at work, then you got to study basically your weekends. Well, the mistake I used to make was, again, I would do this two-part, but I always left this out because this seemed like wasted time. Trust me, this is not wasted time. If you skip any one of these, you're going to screw up. It's not good at all. So I don't know, I was sitting there basically I was sitting there doing my spiritual training, and I basically figured it out for myself, and I was like, it's so beautiful, and I can see how it's so interrelated, how the physical automatically leads to the spiritual. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and I thought you would find it as useful as I did. And notice how my spiritual training goes. Do you have to believe anything? No, it's just stuff you can actually try and do that actually betters your life where? Here and now. Guess what people who really aren't good truth seekers promise you? I'm going to promise you an afterlife. Why? Because they can't promise you diddly squat here. Why? Because they ain't smart, they're stupid. If they ain't promised you nothing here, and they give you stuff you can do right here and now, that's because they don't know diddly squat about what's going on here and now. They want to talk about, oh, in the afterlife, this and that's going to happen. Screw the afterlife. You don't have no bet on there's going to be one. Sorry. This is what real truth seeking is about. You figure real stuff out that really makes your life better, takes thorns away from you. And again, it's about making your life less miserable. And so another thing on the spiritual training. And basically, let me just talk a little bit about each of these. Spiritual training is real simple. You don't have to sit in lotus pose or anything like that and hurt your knees and mess your knees up. I think it's a matter of fact, I would not recommend it. I would recommend you get in a quiet place, turn everything off, you know, all the electronic stuff off that you can within reason. Sit in a recliner and just try to be as still as possible and try to have everything lined up, you know, because you're going to have thoughts run through your head. You're going to have some insights, just like when you step in the shower, you're like, ah, I get it. And you're in the shower and you want to write it down, but you can't. So you rush out of the shower. So you want your board with you. Have that sitting right beside your recliner where you can easily get it. And again, I recommend a dry erase versus paper, because you may run through some thoughts and then you erase it and do it again. You can sit there and do it however you want. But obviously you do that however you want, but nonetheless. It's simple. You just sit there and deal with yourself. Look inside. Look around. It's just allowing things. It's just being still and being focused, and don't make it complicated. You say, well, I can't meditate. I don't even call it meditation no more. I'm just sitting in a recliner for an hour. You know what I'm saying? And trying to be still and deal with my mind, let my thoughts move around, write them down. It's not hard. You learn it just like you did anything else. You learn it by doing it. You know what I'm saying? If you have to know everything before you start it, then you ain't ever going to do nothing. Anyway, folks, I was just so excited I wanted to share it with the world, so that's the way it is. That's the way real truth seeking is. People are like, my life is already over, I'm 38 years old, well, I've done everything. You haven't done everything. Just like Ecclesiastes got talked about in the Bible, you haven't done everything. There's plenty in here for you to conquer. There's plenty for you to understand and make your life even better. You know what I'm saying? And not only make your life better, but you can share with the world and make their lives better. So anyway, that's probably all I need to say on that. And if you don't mind, please rate the video. Until next time, later, folks. And I hope you actually apply. Oh, yeah, I know what else I was going to say. Okay, you say, oh, Billy DK, well, that's real fine and dandy, but I got a 9 to 5, buddy. I can't be just doing this crap all day. I got to work. Okay, so here's what you do. Obviously, you're going to have situations in life where you're not going to be able to apply this like this because of circumstances, deadlines. You got a 9 to 5 job. You know, maybe you can apply this easy on a Saturday. But you know what? On Monday, it's a little bit harder. So what you do on Monday is you get up a little bit early. You go do 15, 30 minutes of walking. Then you come 15, 30 minutes of this. And then this will be work. Then after your work for a couple hours, you've done a couple hours of this at work. Maybe you can take a 15-minute walk. Do 5 minutes of spiritual, just sitting in your office or whatever. Or maybe you don't have an office. You got a cube. Sit outside somewhere for 5 minutes. Just be still. Come back, do it 2 hours. Lunchtime will be coming around. Maybe you can walk a little longer at lunch. Maybe you can do a little bit longer spiritual training, then come back. It's about understanding this pattern, and then you can figure out how to apply it best for your life. I can't tell you how to apply it to your life. I'm just telling you that's the pattern that works. And I'm pretty convinced it works for everybody, not just me. If it's just me, I probably wouldn't have said anything. And so, like I say, you already tried some Saturday. You might be surprised that you get more done doing this and say, no, Billy, I got all these errands. I got to rush around a lot. How many times you rushed around, just have to rush around some more? So again, you wake up on Saturday. You go, maybe you consider running your errands at your physical. You've done that for about an hour. And let's say you still got 2 more hours of errands to run. So then maybe you just go home for a minute, sit around, let your thoughts collect, and maybe you'll see some, I can do this, combine these two and save time. Plus, you're going to be relaxed while you're doing it. When you're relaxed when you're doing things, you do a much better job. And just cycle. Cycle. Use the cycle to make your life better. I ain't saying you have to, it's not something you have to cling to like a religion. Billy said you got to go physical, spiritual, mental. No, I'm just saying when you get the opportunity, when you have a choice, do it. Do it that way. When you don't, do it whatever you got to do. Break the cycle then. Anyway, folks, please rate until next time. Later, folks.